like for years. But you know, Rossa, I trusted, like there was something pulling me there and I have just went with it. And
the Daisha has that strength.
But yeah, and I look out here, like I'm in my garden room at the moment. I recently just built one for, work, because I work remotely, and I'm looking out at the sea, and every day I wake up, I just say to myself, thank you. I don't know who I'm even saying thank you to, but I'm just so grateful, Rossa, to be able to work, in such a beautiful part of the world. It just feels, I really know that I made the right move. And even work-wise, Rossa, I remember saying to my boss, I was like, that I was thinking of moving here, and I would have already like worked from home, say 2 days a week, because the teams I manage are all like, in Europe and South America.
Yeah.
But I just trusted, I wasn't even going to let my job hold me back from this move. I was going, in terms of like, I was saying, I'm going to figure something out. If it doesn't work out in this role, I'll figure something out. And I think by sometimes believing and trusting, amazing things can happen. And we were so lucky, Rossa, even with, I really feel it was meant to be. Like, we bought, say, a new house here. It hadn't been built. We bought off the plans. But even that, we were so lucky to get the house we live in. We had no one bidding against us.
Wow.
We bought at a really good time. I remember going to the auctioneer. They were based in Dungarvan at the time, and we had been looking at, say, another house. And I had said, like, is there any like bungalows around? I'd really like to live in a bungalow. And he said, actually, there's a development going to be going here, and they're going to build a bungalow. They're not too bothered about doing it anytime soon, but if you want it, it's yours. And I couldn't believe it. We had been bidding on a house up in Donadee in Maynooth, near Maynooth, and it had just skyrocketed, gone out of control completely.
It's like a bend in the road, Dundee.
Yeah. So we moved here, and you know what? Like, it has been, I think, the best move I've ever made, because I just living near the sea, that means so much to me, because I find it so healing. I feel it relaxes my body. It shocks my body for a little while when I get in, but I feel so vibrant, for the rest of the day.
So tell me this then, you're standing queuing for coffee in Dunmorris, is it not? And a car strikes you. Was that not a sign of something?
Yeah, I know, it's interesting. And when I was saying that there, I was, when I was like, it was all meant to be, it was meant to be. But there was a period after that happened where I just said to myself, oh my God, like, this doesn't fit in with my little story about moving to the sea. And, amazing it's all been. And, there was a period of time, Rossa, after that happened, where I wondered, like, do I even want to live here anymore? And, how am I going to walk?
Yeah, because you're standing there queuing for coffee, and a car careers into you, and I don't know if other people involved, and you damage your pelvis, your back, this, that and the other.
Yes, that's right. I was standing waiting for a coffee
Minding your
one
own
morning.
Business, getting your coppers together to pay for your coffee. I probably did by card, knowing you. But and then bang.
And then life, life happens. And that is what, unfortunately, life, can bring. And it was a moment that I feel it is really, I think since then, Rossa, I've just got even more, I knew how precious life was with my brother and other, people I've lost. But for that to happen and the way it happened, it really scared me for a long time. It did. I would have had a very strong mindset throughout my recovery, but it did. It really shocked me that something like that could happen. Like, you read about these things every day, but my God, like, when I left my house that morning, my laptop was set up for work. I was about to record a podcast about my brother Derek, which I find is just an unbelievable synchronicity or coincidence. Yeah. Like, isn't that strange? Yes. But that has given me strength to really face what I faced with a lot of courage. It has really empowered me, because do you know what, Rossa? I know I'm not alone. And I know in these moments when things happen that none of us are ever alone. And that morning, I think it has just, it really has changed my life in terms of I have absolutely no question. I have zero doubt. I know our loved ones are with us. I know that we are never, ever alone. And I know that if we can connect into that, they will help guide us on the right path for, throughout our lives. And Rossa, after that happened, like so many things, even the week before it, I feel I'm very connected because I don't know if it's because I'm a sensitive soul or what, but the week before that, I felt like my brother was with me 2 days before that happened in the room. Now, I didn't see anything, but it was a feeling, and he just felt very present. And, I had been planning to do my podcast about him. I'd been talking a lot about Derek to my parents. And now I just know, so Derek was he was very funny, and I can see him wherever he is saying, she will know after this to trust, to believe, to know that I'm definitely here. That's how many things happened. And, right before I was hit by the car, I felt my brother beside me. A presence came over me. And, that has given me so much strength. In hospital at night time, Rossa, I used to feel like someone was holding my hands throughout my recovery. When I couldn't move in bed, I had, multiple fractures in my lumbar spine and had broke my pelvis in multiple places. Wow. So, there was a period of time where I was just lying straight in bed. And I remember one night, it was very hard to sleep. I couldn't turn either way in the bed. I couldn't lift my legs. It was just such a surreal experience. But I remember waking up in the middle of the night, one night that I managed to get a little bit of sleep, and I looked out the window and there was a full moon and it was just shining in on me. Really, it was so bright. But I just felt really connected in that moment to the more than. And after that whole experience, I said to myself, Rossa, when my husband when I got out of hospital, I, even buying the bungalow, I was lucky I could come home, because I would have had to stay a lot longer if I had lived in a 2-story and, all the rehabilitation for that. Exactly. So when it's interesting, I left my house that morning to get a coffee. My laptop was set up. I had a day of calls. There was people wondering why I wasn't joining calls, they had no idea what had happened to me. Yeah. And that's what can happen, people in life, and I was so lucky to actually get home that time, Rossa. And so the day I did get home it was just unbelievably emotional.
How many weeks after was it?
I was in hospital for almost 3 weeks, and then I was like an outpatient. I was in and out every day. And
somebody turn off the laptop.
God, but it's funny you say that. Listen to this. When I got home, I walked into my room and I seen my laptop in the exact same. Sure. Now, it was turned off. The battery had died. But it sent a chill down my spine. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, it just really scared me. But when Eugene collected me, I'll never forget this. There was pillows all over the car for me, because just in case, I was sore. And then we passed the by the A&E department, and I was just remembering, how I came into the hospital, and then we passed by the morgue. And Rossa, I am telling you, I burst out crying, and I just said to Eugene, I go, oh my God, I am the luckiest person alive. And after that, we went and collected my little boy from where he was in crash at the time. And I just said, thank you, God. Nothing else mattered to me, only that I was, alive, that I was able to come home again, that I was been able to be a mother to James again. I felt like I can't even describe it. Just so much gratitude. And that gratitude hasn't left me, Rossa.
You never get grumpy. You're always positive. That's what it's taught you.
Oh, Jesus. I could call Eugene out here.
I'll call you.
Yeah. He'll tell you another side of it.
I'll have on the podcast next.
But listen, I try to, and I'm human, of course, there are certain thought patterns that come in. Yeah, I try and live my life from a place of presence, but I always ground myself. If I'm getting caught up in something, I always remember, how lucky am I to be able to get dressed? How lucky am I to
And
be
you have
able
no
to walk?
residual injuries?
Well, nothing that's holding me back. Okay. And I believe, honestly, Ross, I think a huge part of healing is our mindset.
Yeah.
you know, from
Definitely.
tragedy. And I would, you know, there's certain attitudes they talk about in mindfulness. And I believe if we can be more aware of them, like stuff like gratitude, acceptance, like non-striving, letting go, it can be really health enhancing. I think.
Yeah, well, I think if you start the day